Most of you should already be familiar with moving and rotating components inside of an assembly. Using your left mouse button, you should be able to move things around just by holding down your mouse button and moving around the screen. If you hold down your right mouse button, you should be able to rotate that same part. But what many of you might not know about is the Move command up here. So if you click on the Move command on the assembly toolbar, I have a bunch more options here that I can turn on and tools that I can use to move my components and align them correctly. So my standard drag is exactly what I have right now. I just click on a part and move it around. But now I can also turn on collision detection. So if I move it over, I can actually stop when it hits another part, and you can see which faces are interfering. And that's pretty handy. You can turn on physical dynamics and adjust how the part is moving around, and you can add things to that. If you go back to collision detection, if you go down here to dynamic clearance, it allows you to give a value of how far it is between the parts. So if I come down here and I click on the parts, this one and that one, and then I drag it, so room zoom the drag, now it's going to give me a value of how far it is between these two parts in this orientation. So that's a good way to verify how far things move. It also has that same collision detection turned on, so if you move and slam into something, it's going to highlight the faces that are interfering. But it also just gives you a nice visual cue of how far it is between the different parts. And then if I go down a little bit further here, if I'm in an assembly and I don't have everything fixed in place, I can temporarily fix individual parts or groups of parts to make it a little easier for me to figure things out when I'm assembling components. Now outside of that, I also have directly below Move component is Rotate component, and you get a lot of the same things here. So I can rotate this component around in that mode. I can turn on collision detection, so if it happens to rotate and slam into something else, that will work. But these two tools are really the same tool, so click under Move, and we can move right back to the Move toolbar. So if I click on Move really close, come down to Rotate, and then try to rotate, you can see that I can slam the side of this cylinder into the cube here, and both faces will highlight because I have that collision detection turned on. So that's the basics for Rotate and Move component using the toolbar. There are some really great features there, especially the Stop at Collision and collision detection tools built into these two resources that really help you figure out what's moving and how it's going to move inside of your assembly.